Hey, it is Thursday, September 3rd. And it's funny, I was just talking to someone and I said, I'm going to make today amazing. Like, it doesn't matter what's going on. It doesn't matter what's happening. It doesn't matter what's going on in my world. I am going to make it amazing because I'm going to choose that it's going to be amazing today. And, I'm going super off script, guys, because I always do. But I was having a conversation this morning with a client, and we were talking about disappointment and how, when there's those things in life that you were like, I just wanted that. I just needed that. I can't handle what's going on. And one of the things we were talking about is how how do I put this? Okay, no one can make you feel a feeling. Okay? Nobody. I can say anything and everything I want to you. You determine how that's going to make you feel. The only thing in life that we control, 100% the only thing in our entire life that we can control, and I'm going to pause and say that every control freak on the planet that might watch this is going to be like, you're wrong. Girl, challenge me on this. Guy, challenge me on this. I dare you. The only thing in life that we control are our reactions and our responses. That's it. We don't control our health. Met anyone who's been in control of their health? Good luck. We don't control our outcomes of things. We don't control our bodies. And if you want to battle me on that one, tell me the last time you controlled your bowels. All right. That's a thing that people can't control. We don't control so many things. And the problem with that is that we become these massive control freaks over our existence, over our outcomes, over anything and everything that should have gone on in our lives, in our days, and everything else. And then when it doesn't fall into our category of like, okay, I've got this, I'm in control of this, and I can do this, we feel like failures, right? We feel like we have failed because we weren't good enough or smart enough, or we didn't work hard enough, or we didn't have healthy enough boundaries, or we didn't blah, 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 fill in the blank. Guys, do you know how many times we hate the best parts of us because that's what we give to people? And then when we can't control how they react, respond, deal with that, we beat ourselves down for who we are. We beat ourselves down for what we are, when really we can't make anyone feel a feel. So the good news with that is that means we actually get to control how we're going to feel, right? You get to choose how you're going to respond and how you're going to react to something. The bad news is that also means that we cause our own suffering. Yeah, I said that. That always makes people really mad at me, by the way. But I'm saying it anyways. We cause our own suffering. So there was a situation going on recently where there was this big plan and there was, things didn't work out. Okay? Not that my big dream isn't working out, but a piece of it that I was so excited about, and I could visualize it and me being in it and doing it, and I was so excited, right? I was so excited for this one little piece of this dream. Okay, a pretty big piece, but still, like, I was so pumped, and it all fell apart. All of it. And I was really upset by it, right? And I had my moment. Don't get me wrong, I had my moment, but I was like, okay, what about this could be exciting? What about this could be exciting? How could this shift things in the future? How could this shift the direction that I'm wanting to go in? How could this shift my business? What about this could be exciting? And I sat down and started dreaming, because that's what I do, right? I started dreaming about, like, what's my next plan and what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? And and all these things. And I was talking to someone about it yesterday, and he was like, girl, I've never met anybody who pivots quite like you do. He's like, aren't you disappointed? Aren't you angry? Like, I would just shut everything down and be like, no, obviously, this is the universe telling me no. This is saying I'm not supposed to do this. I'm not supposed to be in this position. I'm not supposed to be reacting or responding or dealing with this, right? And I was like, well, no, that's not how I took it. Because guess what? You remember, do you guys know that old saying, like, when a door closes, open a window, blah, blah, blah. No, open the door back up. Like, just open the door back up. That's how they work. They have doorknobs and hinges. That's how they work. You can actually open the door. And I know that's really simplistic, but really think about that for a sec. When we're laser focused on something, right? Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's a job. Maybe it's a trip. Maybe it's a house. Maybe it's your health. Maybe, like, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where it is, what it is. But when we're so laser focused on it, we often end up with blinders, right? And we get these blinders that have us so, like, but this is the path, but this is the journey, but this is where I'm going, this is what I have to do, this is how this has to go, this is what this has to look like. That we forget to see that maybe what's going on is, it's not a door closing, it's not a dead end, it's a detour sign. It's just a detour sign. And I don't know about you, but some of those detours are the best things we've ever done. Right? Like, some of those are the greatest things we've ever done. And I'm talking even like a literal detour on a road trip. I was on a road trip with my brother a few years ago, and I have a really crazy bucket list, okay? And I think I've talked about it on here before, but for anyone who hasn't seen that video, I have a really crazy bucket list, and it's really, really precise, like weirdly precise items, which makes it easy to do, but also really entertaining for everyone around me. So, like, my bucket list item wasn't to go see Mount Rushmore. It was to take a selfie with the presidents at Mount Rushmore. That's it. Like, I just wanted a selfie. To eat In-N-Out Burger while riding in a Mini Cooper with the top down on the Las Vegas Strip. That was a bucket list item. To eat a taco walking on the river walk in San Antonio, Texas was a bucket list item. So I'm talking like, it's like hilariously precise, my bucket list. Seriously, like hilariously precise. And I got a big one, and I'm working on it. But I wanted to go see the presidents, and I had a week off work, blocked in my calendar, and I phoned my brother. I had nothing planned, and it was Thursday night, and I phoned my brother, and I was like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? And he's like, nothing, why? And I said, well, I was like, want to go on a crazy road trip with me? And he's like, what the hell are you talking about? And I said, do you want to go on a crazy road trip with me? He's like, okay. And I said, what if we went to Mount Rushmore? So he lives in Winnipeg. Keep in mind, that's about a 19, 20-hour drive. If you follow a map, which we didn't. So he's like, oh, okay. So he's way more like adult than I am when it comes to these things. I'm like, no, we're going to rent a car, and we're going to just start driving, and we're going to see what happens. And we're going to like just end up where we end up, and it's going to be amazing. And my poor brother, I love him to death, but my poor brother, putting up with me is not always easy. And so he's like, okay, well, when are we going to do this? And how's this going to look? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go online right now. I'm going to buy a plane ticket. I'm going to fly to you. And let's just go when I get to the airport. Like, meet me at the airport. I'll rent a car, and let's do this. And he's like, okay. He's like, what do I need to bring? And I'm like, just you. Like, maybe like an overnight bag, but like, let's just do this and be crazy. So we did. So we hop in this little rental car. It's like 10 o'clock at night on a Friday. I've been awake since 5:30 that morning. My first meeting started at 6:30. And I've been going strong all day. He's been working all day. And we're like, let's do this. So we take off on this crazy road trip. We ended up, okay, so this is enough years ago that, oh gosh, this is a while ago, like 6, 7 years ago. We didn't have international cell phone plans, so we had no access to anything online. And we hadn't set it up in advance. We didn't bring a map. We had no idea where we were going. And we just started driving. So we grabbed like McDonald's, we hit the road, and we're like, let's do this. We're driving overnight. Well, North Dakota, not a really populated state, to say the least. Neither South Dakota. Nothing was open. So we're pulling over at like random gas stations. Nobody sells maps anymore because at this point, like you go online. Like you're not an idiot. You go online and you download a map, right? Or you have Google Maps or something. And we're driving and laughing our heads off because we have no idea what we're doing. And we get to these gas stations and we're like, hey, how do we get to Mount Rushmore? And they're like, oh, you just like go like down 4 streets and then hang a left and cut across this farmer's field. Literally, we did this. And then like just keep driving. You're like 4 hours away. And we're like, awesome. So every single stop, and we still laugh about it to this day, every single stop said we were 4 hours away. Every single one. Like it took us like 21 hours. Like for 21 hours, we were 4 hours away. And we drove through farmers' fields and we drove through people's yards and like we took some of the funniest roads to get there. We're like jazzed on energy drinks. We're taking really quick naps in the car while the other person's driving, and we're just like determined to get there and get home before his wife gets home from the cabin with the kids because we don't want anyone to know what we did. And so we're doing this, and the whole time we're just like I don't even know how to describe how fun this trip was. We had a blast. We had a total blast. But we finally got there, and we walk up, and you can like go on tours and you can do all these things. And we walked up, and I'm like, selfie! And I'm like, all right, let's go. And my brother didn't realize how literal I was. And he was like, sorry, what? And I'm like, I'm good. Let's turn around. Let's go. He was like, no! So we ended up hanging out for a little bit, but we stopped at the funniest tourist spots and laughed our heads off and saw the most interesting sights and the most interesting things. And we got back in the car to leave, and he's like, so what are we doing? And I was like, we're going home. Like that was the trip. And he's like, what? So again, no map. So we decided to go a different route to get home. Guys, we like ran out of gas. We hit a giant bird and like damaged the front of this car. We ended up on this massive detour because we took the wrong turn and ended up in this like it was called Enchanted Forest Alley or something. Really? Like not a tree there. There was no enchanted nothing. But I saw some of the coolest giant sculptures you've ever seen in your life that were made out of like hay bales and old tin cans. Like these massive sculptures on the side of this highway that we stopped and posed with and laughed at them. Hey, Amanda. You know what? We had a blast. And you know why it was so much fun? You want to know why it was so enjoyable and it was so much fun and it was so good? It's because we kept doing the pivot. We pivoted hard nonstop. And when we thought we were going in a direction and we got frustrated and we got irritated and we got angry because someone sent us in the wrong direction, you know what? We'd stop, we'd laugh, we'd pivot, we'd regroup, and we'd go again. And you know, we got caught at the border on the way home. It took us forever to get home. We had to deal with like a damaged car rental. Thankfully, we had paid for the insurance. The one time I've ever paid for the insurance was that time, and we needed it. Right? But it was because we didn't give up. It was because we didn't lose our motivation. It was because we didn't let the dream die. Right? We never let it die. We looked at it head on, and I was like, we're doing this. We're going to find this place. We're going to see this place. We're going to make this happen. And it was amazing. It was incredible. And it was because of all the random detours that we took. It was the weird random roads we drove down. It was, you know, driving through South Dakota in one of the most beautiful areas I've ever driven through in my life because we didn't have a map and we took the wrong turn. And we're stopped at one point, and I was like, that's a really weird fake buffalo. And my brother's like, wow, that's really gigantic. And all of a sudden it turned and it was like right beside our car. We're like, oh, that's real. Like, there were things like that that happened. We were getting out to go for a walk. There was like this big old wild buffalo standing there, right? But it's because we didn't just stop and suffer, right? So right now, if life is throwing you more curveballs than you can handle, right? Grab a bat and become a sports person, right? Hit them out of the park. Start the pivot, start the detour, because you don't know. You don't know if this could be the best damn thing that ever happened to you. That ever happened to you, your business, your family, your relationship. What you're going through right now could be building the foundational blocks of something absolutely freaking outstanding, and you don't know because you're not willing to see it. Right? So take a look at what's going on. Take a look at what's happening right now. And ask yourself one question. What about this could be exciting? How could this be the greatest thing that ever happened to me? And how can I make it the greatest thing that ever happened to me? Because you get to choose how you feel. Nobody else does. You get to determine how you're going to respond or react to it. That is your only control. You get to decide that. So decide really well. Okay? All right, guys. I'm peacing out. It's my day off, kind of. I have like 2 clients, but that's okay. I call that a day off. And I just had a massage. I am going to go enjoy the rest of my day. Play some Lego. I don't know. Go run some errands. I'm like 3 days behind in my vehicle registration, getting that done. So I really got to do that today. Okay? But seriously, really step back and take a look at your life. No one else is making you suffer. You are. You're the one choosing those emotions. So how can you shift them? Have the most amazing day.